Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. So glad you're here. If you've seen the last episode last week, we spoke about the 7 habits of highly effective people. This week, however, I think I'm just going to change it up a bit and do a new book that I've recently read and listened to. So I read it and I also listened to it on Audible, and it's a book that's been on my radar for the longest time. Like I've always seen this as one of the best sellers, and like it's everywhere. I don't know if you've seen it, but I've seen it everywhere. And it's just been nagging and nagging and tugging at me. So I was like, maybe I'll give it a shot because why not? And I think I watched a YouTube video and it talked about it, and I was like, that's it. I gotta listen to this book. Why not? Okay, and I'm sure you've seen by the title already what the book is, but without further ado, I will show you. It is I'm Glad My Mom Died by Jennette McCurdy. Yeah. So the title kind of speaks for itself. It's a very catchy, very captivating title. And it's by Jennette McCurdy. I don't know if everyone knows her, but she's from the show iCarly. I didn't grow up watching iCarly. I think I was already older by the time the show became popular, so I was already kind of like out socializing and partying a bit more, which is why I didn't watch iCarly at all. I mean, she's around 30, so close to my age. But yeah, it's a great book, honestly. It is so well written. Jennette, kudos to you. This book is honestly, it's a story. It's storytelling at its finest. One of like, yeah, it was just so well organized. And if you listen to the Audible, which I highly recommend you do, it's read by Jennette herself, obviously. And Jennette's way of reading it was just so alluring, is the word I want to use, because it's just like it hooks you in. And because she also changes her voice, I always appreciate when people do that, when they have like they change their voice to like mimic another person, and she does her mom so well. You can def and her boyfriends as well. That was so funny. I really appreciate it. And she surprised me at the end a bit with how she changes her voice, but it's just, this is her life story, this is her childhood and her upbringing and her adulthood. The book did surprise me, to be honest. I kind of did expect a more happier ending. Not that it's not a positive ending. But I guess that's just the Disney, the Disney in me that kind of thought like it'll be happy ever after. But I think Jennette is still very much in her early stages of healing. There was a positive note at the end how she overcame her eating disorder, her long term eating disorder. Not sure she overcame it, but she managed it. I don't know if we'll really overcome anything, right? Like we kind of just keep it on the down low, kind of suppress it a little bit, manage it better, because that's what healing is. You don't really stop anything. You kind of just deal with it better. I'm sure some people can stop things, but I don't know. That's just my thought. That's just my 2 cents. It's just, I don't know. It's one of those books, where I don't know if you saw the last video. I get really absorbed into drama and trauma kind of stories. I kind of become the character themselves. So I can't really read books like this that much or watch TV shows that has kind of like these kind of content too much, because I kind of merge myself in with the characters, and it gets a bit crazy in my head. Because it took me 2 days, guys. It took me 2 days to finish the book and the Audible. So like I listened to it while I was reading it, and it took me 2 days. It came to a point where Jennette's voice literally became my inner dialogue in my head. The voice that's in your head when you're thinking and you can hear it. That became Jennette's voice, and just the way she did the storytelling, like it really shows, the her growing up. So at the beginning, you can see like the sense of innocence that she had, and the oh man, what really got me, like right at the beginning, and we know that she's an actress, and it's cool that you can actually Google some of these things she talks about, and because she's an actress, it's out there. But right at the beginning, she tells us a story about how she didn't even like being on camera. Like her grandfather would took photos of her, and she's like she didn't like that. She doesn't like being on camera. So that kind of sets the scene of who Jennette is or is, you know, like who she is as a kid, and kind of learning that about herself as she grows up, and really finding out who she is and her identity, and, you know, who she is outside of her mother. And that's hard, because I think the book really raised an awareness in me on the importance of autonomy, because I have a 4-year-old daughter. Guys, I have a 40-year-old daughter. And if my daughter wrote this book about me, this is mom, what's the opposite of mom goals? Mom not goals. Like, this is not, like, you know what I mean? Like, I'm sure her mom did a lot for her, right? And it's just, it really flagged the whole autonomy for me, because having a 4-year-old daughter, even though I'm not that on Jennette's mom's level, hopefully, I'm not, it's just, even like pushing your kid in a direction, slightly in the direction that they don't want to be in, out of like selfish intentions. I guess it comes down to intentions, right? Because her mom didn't really evaluate her intentions clearly enough. I'm sure if she did it in a way where it's for Jennette and it's because she loves Jennette, I mean, she thinks she loves Jennette, but if it's really selflessly for Jennette and gives Jennette the room to kind of explore who she is outside of being an actress, I think that would have made a big difference. And I've heard that makes huge difference in a lot of celebrities. And I think not all celebrities go through this, but it is unfortunate that there are some that get sucked up in something that they never wanted to do. And I've always been big, as I said, on like giving my kids choices, like, do you want this or do you want that, rather than telling them what to do and telling them what I think. Like, I've always been big on autonomy, choices, and independence. But reading this book, it kind of, you know, it really put me on the spectrum. It felt like it put me on the lower end of like, of doing this. Like, I do this to a certain degree. I do push things on my kids to a certain degree, and it's been a good evaluation. Like, I'll give you an example. Like, my daughter, she loves ballet. Oh, sorry, even saying that was wrong. My daughter enjoyed doing ballet because I enjoyed watching her do ballet and being at ballet with her, and just having that experience with her. But at the end of the day, I don't think she really enjoyed it. Like, but then again, you know, like, you can't just let your kids decide everything. I get that. It's just giving them the option, I think, is really important, because I did push ballet a little bit, but that could be because when I was younger, I got kicked out of ballet school for being too noisy. And the teacher would say something to me that I'll never forget. He said, and this is not me flattering myself, this is when I was young, this is exactly what the teacher said. He said, "So pretty, no talent." And I was really sad. I was actually really sad, because I really enjoyed ballet, and I really liked it. But my mom heard that, and so she just put me out, and we never came back, and we never tried anywhere else. So I guess I really wanted that experience with Faith. I really want my daughter. But then again, that's pushing an agenda that kind of like unlived experience in my childhood onto my kids. You know what I mean? So thank you, Jennette. Thank you, Jennette, so much for highlighting that. I mean, I'm sorry you had to go through all this. I do really enjoy your storytelling. I just know that this is just the beginning for you, because there's so much more work to be done. Like, this is like, I'm looking forward to a sequel, if there is, because there's so much more healing. I mean, you basically grew up your whole life not really knowing who you are, and just reading your mom and knowing everything that she is. Like, I don't want to diagnose, but I think Jennette's mom had bipolar, and nobody could really tell. She said nobody could really tell how my mom would feel, but I always would. If it's like a different facial expression or anything, eyebrows down, different tone, I know that that's what she means. And Jennette devoted her life to serving her mother, so it'd be interesting to see where she goes next. I mean, I have a very similar experience with a family member of mine, very similar, not to the same degree, but it's hard when you don't see who the person really is. But yeah, more on that next time. Thanks guys for coming. Like and subscribe if you haven't. Have a good day. Bye.